Hello and welcome to Better Business Podcast. My name is Alexei, and I want to start today by saying thank you. Thanks, guys. My book, Better Business That Works, is currently ranking number 9 on Amazon in the sections for motivational business management and motivational leadership. All thanks to you guys. It didn't take very much for that to happen. All that is required is some reviews, and also getting, obviously some purchases through as well. So huge thanks to you guys. And this all happened because I asked. And I think one of the biggest issues with small businesses that I'm seeing is business owners are actually not asking for anything. So today I wanted to talk about the magic of asking the right questions. So let's jump right into it. I guess the basic philosophy that I like to explore is that if you don't ask, you don't get. If you're not going to ask for anything, nothing's going to happen. So whether you're asking for an opportunity, whether you're asking for business, whether you're asking for referrals, these things won't happen. So in my case, I made a very clear post on my Facebook profile where I asked my followers to purchase a copy of my book and leave me a review. And I shared the fact that I was already ranking number 68. So that basically gave some momentum. And in return, I am very happy to give my followers a signed physical copy of my book if they buy a Kindle version. Now, Kindle version is only $9.99. The physical copy is a bit of an issue. It's currently coming up as $41. Now, there is an issue with the distributor, which goes through the UK. Don't ask me about the specifics. It's a little bit beyond me, but my publisher tells me they're sorting it. So for now, it's the Kindle version. Now, if you want to get a proper copy of my book, if you're listening to this, you can buy it for $29.95 on my website, which is betterbusinessthatworks.com. That includes shipping as well. But if you want a digital copy, Amazon is your man. Anyway, let's get back into the idea of asking questions. The best form of business for majority of businesses seems to be referrals. However, majority of businesses just don't know how to ask and don't even ask the question. I mean, if you have been a member of a group like BNI or you are a member, that concept is actually reinforced. They teach you how to pass referrals. They teach you how to ask for referrals. And it's really, really powerful. And overall, I find that if you send an email to your past customers or to your followers or to your list, and ask anyone for a referral, more specifically about who specifically you want. Don't just ask for anything. You will almost find that 1 in 20, 1 in 30 people will reply back at least saying, "Hey, I'll think about it," or "I will think about it." And sometimes you got to really make it a lot easier for them as well. Give them specifics. Hey, next time you're at a barbecue or at a conference, I am wanting to connect with accountants or specific time of business owner, or potentially I'm looking for people that are looking to renovate and make their house beautiful if someone is in renovation or design or something like that. Another thing I find is many people don't ask about very simple opportunities like being featured somewhere. Like recently I received an email from one of the accountants I know, and they send out a newsletter quite regularly. And I find that content's quite good, but it's a little bit monotonous. It's very, very similar. Now, I just responded back to them saying, "Hey, I recently wrote a book. Would you like me to put a piece into your newsletter about what I do, about the book, about my specialization? And in fact, if there's a specific topic in relation to sales and marketing, I'm happy to contribute to it. But would you be open to something like that in an exchange? I guess we could maybe organize books for your customers if that works." And they came back really swiftly saying, "Yeah, this is definitely something we'd like to explore." And they also asked me if I did newsletters and something would be of interest as well. This is where both parties win, right? You can write content for the newsletters and more people get to see it. But most importantly, accountants get to diversify the content of their newsletters. And I obviously would get some expert advice into mine as well. That's a win-win as well. So guys, use these ideas and concepts in order to explore possible partnerships or opportunities and so on. Media exposure, that's another interesting one. Oftentimes, it's very difficult to get into newspapers or get on TV. But if you got a story, it's just really a matter of asking. And sometimes it's really understanding who is the right person to get you in. In fact, I know I talk about this a lot, but there's a great book by Benjamin Hardy, which is called Who Not How. So if you know who is the right person, then you got to ask them the question. You got to be able to approach them and ask the question. That is what the whole concept is about. I think it's really, really powerful. So in terms of other things, I guess, do you have a network? Do you have a community? Do you have some sort of a group that surrounds you on a frequent basis? Do they know, first of all, that what you do? Are you asking them the right sort of questions? And look, it's not about being focused on your business all the time. People do business with other people. It's about getting to know you first. It's about to understand what what your persona is all about. People buy from people who they know, like, and trust, and that is essentially what you're really needing to get through to. So understand your audience, guys. Just don't pitch the same thing to everybody. But the power of asking the right questions, I think that's extremely, extremely important. And oftentimes people are just lacking direction. So what should I do next should really be a question. And there's probably some things that you should be asking yourself. Why do people buy from my business? Why do they choose me as opposed to hundreds of other businesses? Why do people, pay me the amount that I ask? Are you positioned a certain way? And these are the sort of questions that you could, use to self-diagnose, specifically where you could be potentially doing something so different, but not everybody knows about it. And that should be the secret recipe to your marketing. Or your pricing could be one of the reasons why people choose you. But if that doesn't serve you, maybe that is something you need to think about and possibly think of adding extra value or just increasing your pricing. So another thing, I guess, when it comes to business and getting ideas is having some sort of a collective intelligence group. I used to run a lot of masterminds, and mastermind is where you invite a few people that you trust, people that are on of a similar caliber, people who run businesses and have similar challenges. And you basically have a format where each person talks for about 5 to 10 minutes saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what my challenge is right now. And other people would basically say, hey, I know someone, or this is what I would do, or this is a book I've read, or hey, I've actually done this myself, and this is what the process is. You'll find that is extremely powerful, but it comes down to one thing: people not knowing exactly what you're struggling with, because everyone makes the assumption that everything's great. I mean, you're a business owner, you probably make more money than most people, or at least revenue wise. And then from there, a lot of people assume that you've got no problems. Well, believe me, if you're thinking of getting into small business, or if you're working for somebody else, running a business is a lot of work, guys. You're wearing a lot of hats. You got to really be good at what you do, and also be disciplined enough to, pay your taxes on time, understand the legalities of what you do, make sure compliance is there, people are on the same page when it comes to customer service. And there's a lot of work, guys. So make sure that you understand exactly what's involved there. Now, one of the bigger questions when it comes to sales and marketing, I find, is what is the actual problem that you're trying to solve? And this is a bit of a surprising question for a lot of business, because they think, like, if an electrician gets asked this question, like, well, I'm an electrician. I fix electrical problems. But to a lot of people, they don't realize that the actual problem that they solve is a peace of mind. They actually get something done professionally in a way that people don't have to worry about. Because if someone does this themselves and they're unlicensed, there's so many things that could go wrong. I don't encourage anybody, by the way, to do anything like that. So solving a problem sometimes is actually much bigger than just delivering a particular service. You may be thinking that you're just changing a light bulb as an electrician, but in essence, you are reducing someone's power bills or making them more energy efficient and environmentally friendly. And then from there, it's about changing the whole scenery of their house, how they feel. If the house is now lit with warm light instead of cold light, it could be a completely different feel altogether. So understand what it is that you're trying to solve. I think that is another great question to ask. Now, in terms of leadership, I guess you should probably have a think about what problem do we solve best? And this is something that leads you to that niche marketing idea. I know I spoke about it a few times, but in your business, if you want to charge the right dollars for your expertise, you got to position yourself as a specialist. The fastest way to do that is to find a niche and be able to dominate that niche, where you get a lot of customers and you're able to streamline that and become known for being an expert in that specific thing. So there's a lot of different things that you could be asking yourself, but I think, from the perspective of business, it's always this 80-20. There's a lot of things that you could be doing, but I suggest that you identify the top 20% of things and really focus on them. Doing everything is by far the worst decision. Trying to do a bit of everything yourself, marketing, sales, delivery, and everything, puts a lot of stress on you guys. And this is where you just end up working crazy hours. Yes, you make more money than others, but then there's no holidays, there's no freedom in your business. And I think that's one of the main reasons why people get into business to start with as well. So anyway, guys, I think what's important is for you to ask yourself the right questions, for you to ask people the right questions, and don't be afraid. Because I think in business, the difference between stagnation and growth is often one simple thing. It's the courage to ask. So my name is Alexei. This is Better Business Podcast. And by the way, my book launch is actually officially on the 7th of April. So if you're in Brisbane, come by and I'd love to meet you. Details will be shared in the description of this video. And I'm sure you'll be able to find that through my social media channels as well. Have a great day. Bye for now.